for Jess. She decided she no longer wanted to participate in leaving this trail of waste behind for our children and grandchildren. So in January 2018, she began to transform her family home from a disposable, overconsumed and unconscious family household to a reusable, conscious, zero waste and plastic-free home. This has resulted in the authoring of a book, Zero Waste with Kids. And naturally, like I said earlier, Jess has been doing all of this whilst on maternity leave from her own business, Mama and Sprout, which is a supplier of organic herbal tea. And if you don't know her from either of those two fields, you might recognise her business name, Jessica Louise Wellbeing, because Jess is also a naturopath. So, a master of many trades from the sounds of it. Please join me in giving Jess a really warm welcome to the stage today.
Thank you, Eliza. And thank you for having me. It's a real honour, well, there's a lot of people here, to be standing up in front of you guys today. Can everyone hear me okay in the back? Yep, beautiful. So, as Eliza mentioned, I'm Jess from Jessica Louise Wellbeing and the War and Waste Karratha Facebook page. My aim for this presentation is to really educate, motivate and inspire you guys to make a positive change for the better of our environment. No, I don't have a clicker.
Just careful, it makes a loud noise.
Okay, that's me. Alright. So, when people first hear that we live this zero waste life, my family and I, and put nothing into our green landfill bin, some people's initial thoughts are, do they eat food? Or are they living on thin air? Do they use electricity? Or are they living their life under candlelight? Where do they put their rubbish? Are they putting it in their neighbour's bin? Or the best one I've heard is, how do you wipe your bum? But don't worry, we're not that extreme yet, I tell my husband. But we do aim to produce absolutely no rubbish. And we're not anyone perfect. We're just your typical Aussie, family of four, who love to eat food. We love to have a laugh, and we even use toilet paper. Recycled and biodegradable, of course. The only difference is that we aim to make more sustainable choices every single day for our goal of zero waste. I think that was right. Yep. Okay, so what am I talking about today? I want to go through our journey to zero waste. Why and how. Oh, I've just realised I can look up there. Okay. I want to talk about the life cycle of a plastic water bottle because we have lost the connection due to our convenience-driven world of how a plastic water bottle is produced and where it ends up once we're finished with it. I want to talk about the 5 R's to total waste reduction. A lot of you have probably heard of the 3 R's, but there's 2 more. I want to talk about how this passion has turned into a business opportunity for me, something that I never saw coming. And finally, I want to talk about what is in store for our future generations. I'm just going to have a quick drink. Okay. We are experiencing the fastest rate of extinction ever. Not only is our marine life suffering and dying every single day due to our plastic consumption, but plastic is now in our food chain, affecting our hormones, our fertility, our unborn babies and our children, even causing smaller penises in our baby boys. We are so obsessed with plastic that we don't even know how to live without it. We live this life of convenience. Everything's at our fingertips. But our life of convenience is inconveniently affecting our planet Earth and our future generations. There's my agenda. just forgot what I was going to say. Because they're so bloody cute. Now, 12 months ago, none of this really made any impact on my life. I was in the thick of motherhood. My daughter was 12 weeks old and my son was 2. A time in my life that was chaotic, full of love, but also what lacked a real sense of purpose from within. I had been looking for something for some time. I just wasn't sure what it was or where I could find it. Then one night, after a hectic day with the kids, my hubby and I flaked out on the couch and flicked on the TV. And up popped the War on Waste. Who's seen the War on Waste? Put your hand up. Awesome, I'm impressed. For me, something just clicked. Something made sense. And something fueled this passion from within that I never knew existed. From that moment on, I decided that I no longer wanted to be a part of the problem, but part of the solution. So I made a commitment to myself, to my children, and to my family and friends that I would reduce our household waste with the ultimate goal of 0. Now, 12 months later, I'm standing up here in front of you guys, support speaking for IT Buttrose, which absolutely blows my mind. And I want to share you my journey. This passion has really made me see our waste differently. For example, this plastic water bottle. I used to just see it as litter. And I would sigh under my breath, people are so lazy. How hard is it to put it in the bin? Who's done this? But now, I see this plastic water bottle as an opportunity to pick it up and put it in the bin and prevent it from entering our oceans and causing the 1 million seabirds and 200,000 other marine life, including whales, dolphins, turtles, fish, that are dying every single year due to our plastic consumption. So I want to take you on a little journey of the plastic water bottle, because I could probably guarantee that none of you have actually thought about the travel, the distance, the miles that has taken for this water bottle to end up in my hands today. I'm holding so many things here. This plastic water bottle is made from petroleum. Oil is extracted from deposits in the earth that are said to be some billions of years old. This oil is either shipped or trapped or piped to a processing facility where various hydrocarbons are separated, and not long after, plastic is formed into these tiny little pellets that are made in the billions, maybe even trillions, and are shipped all around the world. Now, for a plastic water bottle company, they order what's called preforms. You can see up there, they're like little test tubes. These are trapped and shipped again to the water bottle manufacturing company. They use heat to expand the water bottle to the size and type of its branding. They then sterilise the bottle. They fill it with filtered water. They cap it, label it, and package it, ready to be shipped and trucked again to the supplier. Now, I only assume that someone in Karratha, because this bottle has ended up here, has walked into a shop, has purchased the water bottle, has drunk its filtered water contents, and tossed it away. Now, I've picked up this plastic water bottle in a ditch just down my street last week. Now, what am I going to do with it next after I finish with it today? I'm going to pop it into my recycling bin. When I put it into my recycling bin, I have absolutely no control what happens to this plastic water bottle next. For me, it goes away, right? But where is away? Do you know? Away for this plastic water bottle, there is 4 potential likelihoods. Now, when I pop it into my recycling bin, the recycling man is going to pick it up from my curbside and it's going to be trucked down to the recycling facility in Perth. It'll be baled up with all other PET plastics and it will be shipped overseas. That's right, to another country, because WA does not have its own plastic reprocessing plant. There is a company called Greenbatch who are trying to start the first reprocessing plant as we speak. We've never had one. So what happens when it gets to these other countries, like Asia, India, China, Malaysia, where recycled plastics are going at the moment? The 4 potential likelihoods. Number 1, it ends up in landfill. Although, as you can see, their landfills are very different to what ours look like. Now, once it's in landfill, it can potentially take thousands of years to completely break down. Although we don't even know how long it takes for plastic to break down, because the first plastic ever invented still exists today. It could end up back in our environment, just where I found it, just in another country though. Reaching our oceans, where our seabirds and our marine life mistaken it as food. It might be burnt. Burnt to make more room in landfill, or burnt as an energy source, creating harmful carbon emissions into our environment. Number 4, it might even be recycled. But let me tell you, of the world's plastic, only 8% has ever been recycled. Now, of that pathetic 8%, what has that been recycled into? Is that end product then recyclable? Recycling is a last resort. Now, I want to take you through the 5 R's. Let me put this bottle down. The 5 R's to waste reduction. Who's heard of the 3 R's? Can anyone tell me what they are?
Reduce, reuse, recycle.
Spot on. Reduce, reuse, recycle. But what if I was to tell you there's 2 more R's in the alphabet? And the 2 that I feel most passionate about. Number 1 is refuse. Refusing the single-use water bottle in the first place. Reduce, reuse, recycle, and rot. Who can tell me what rotting is? Composting. Home composting, our food scraps, our garden waste. Now I want to go through these a little bit further. Number 1 is refuse. Refusing single-use plastics and disposable items in the first place. Learn to say no. No, thank you. I do not need that plastic straw. No, thank you. I do not need that plastic bag. I also don't need the plastic cutlery, the plastic cups, the plastic plates, the plastic coffee cups. And yes, they are lined with plastic. And no, they are not recyclable. Not here in Karratha anyway. Plastic bags. For every time that you use or buy a single-use plastic item, you're voting yes. Yes, please make more of that crap. Yes, we need more, is reduce. Reducing our overall consumption. Society tells us that we need one product for everything, but I'm here to tell you that you actually don't. Buy a cup that comes in a box and your own citrus-infused vinegar. Is your all cleaning purpose spray? Can leave your shower screens and your ovens sparkling clean. These 2 products can replace around 20 products in your home. Be more with less. We have reduced and discarded more than half of our household items, 3/4 of my wardrobe. I can see clearer. I have more clarity. I can see past the clutter. More clarity, seeing clearer, allows me to do the things that I want to do to fulfill my purpose on this planet. Number 3 is reuse. Reusing the items that you do consume. As you can see, the first 2 photos is actually some of my wardrobe. I cut up some of my dresses and my shirts that I no longer use, that sat in my wardrobe and collected dust, and I made them into scrap bowls. These sit all around my house. For keys, for loose change, glasses, phones. And I also took the old towels out of my cupboard. The ones that either didn't get used or were past their use by date. I chopped them up into baby wipe signs, stitched around the outside, and I no longer have to use disposable baby wipes or paper towels. Number 4 is recycle. We should be buying less and recycling less. Recycling is still important, but it's certainly not the answer. And number 5, which is the one that I'm most passionate about, is rot. Having your own home composting system. Learning that whole life cycle of your food. Do you know that Australians send over 20% of the food that they buy to landfill? That's around 1 in every 5 bags of groceries. Now, when food scraps go to landfill, excuse me, they produce a greenhouse gas called methane. The reason why is because they break down anaerobically. They do not have the right environment to break down. Now, methane is said to be some 25 times more potent than the carbon pollution that comes out of your car exhaust. So when I found out about this statistic at the beginning of the year, I have saved every last food crumb, composted it in our home backyard composting system, and made this beautiful, rich, nutrient-dense soil conditioner for my gardens. Let's get back to basics. Get back to our grounding roots. Let's step away from the fast living, the fast food, the fast fashion. Let's live more consciously. Let's eat more consciously, and let's buy more consciously. Let's buy sustainable, ethical garments. Second-hand. My outfit, although it probably doesn't look like it, is worth over $300. I bought each piece individually and paid no more than $30. So this way of life is not only good for our environment, also my health and my family's health, but also that money tree that's growing in our backyard. Let's get the kids back in the kitchen, making the simple, homemade foods that our nanas made. Butter, ghee, broth, bread, milk. Okay, I don't have a cow in the backyard, but I can still milk my almonds. Who has made butter before? Put your hand up. Oh my God, I made butter for the first time last week. It was one of those moments where I felt like I had been living under a rock. It's so easy, and I cannot believe I had never done it in the 33 years of my life. Let's get the kids back in the kitchen. Let's teach them these foods. So this is the norm, and not our fast, convenience-driven world. Now this passion has also turned into a business opportunity for me. A few months ago, I was contacted by a company in Karratha that some of you might know, called Rio Tinto. Okay, a lot of you know. They asked me for their assistance in helping with their workplace waste and how they can minimise it and how they can make their administration building more sustainable. So I helped them audit their landfill waste. We saved 1 week's worth of waste from the administration building. As you can see, it's quite a lot. After the 1 week, we segregated it, divided it up into categories, and you can see the little green arrow. You see that? That is the landfill waste. Everything else is recoverable and recyclable. Now, I held my very first Zero Waste in the Workplace talk with Rio Tinto workers just a few weeks ago. to educate, motivate and inspire them to reduce their workplace waste. But also, and most importantly, to do it at home, because that's where it begins. Now my goal over the next 12 months is to work with another 20 of these businesses and companies in the Pilbara and WA to also be a zero waste workplace. I've also held 2 community cleanups in the last month, where over 100 community members have come together and picked up rubbish. We have prevented over 170 big bags, and I'm talking big bags, of rubbish from going into our oceans come cyclone season. And it rained last night, the first time in 6 months. Now I know that picking up rubbish is not the answer, but it certainly helps. The answer, the solution, is to refuse these single-use and plastic items in the first place. So I want to leave you with a little challenge. Take one step today, whether that be to never buy or use a single-use plastic water bottle ever again. Then move on to another little step once you have made that a sustainable habit. Your next step might be to never use a disposable coffee cup ever again. These little steps will all start adding up to a more sustainable and cleaner future for these guys, our future generations. Because it is estimated that by 2050, there will be more plastic in our oceans than fish. These 2 little people, my children, will be in their 30s, the same age I am now. Every choice that I make every single day will either have a positive or negative impact on their future. I want to make a difference, and I want to be remembered for the good things I did on this planet and not for the rubbish that I left behind. I am someone, you're someone. We are all someone, and we can all make a difference. I have chosen to be a part of the solution and no longer a part of the problem. Who else is with me? Thank you.
We have a couple of minutes for questions, if anybody had questions from the floor at all. Otherwise, Jess is with us for the duration of the day. And you can also find her on these details here. But just off the bat, is there anybody here that has something that they would like to ask? Yes, just down there. We've got a roving microphone that will come to you. If you could just let us know your name and then your question.
Johanna. I read on Facebook a couple of weeks ago somebody who was getting the tops of their plastic water bottles and putting them into another bottle because the machines don't accept anything that's smaller than half size plastic.
Yeah.
Will that bottle that's got all the little lids in it go into the machine, and will they then block up the machine?
No, they won't. And they will go through the recycling stream. They are all HDPE plastics, high density plastics. So all of your water bottles, so on top, this is a PET plastic and this is a HDPE plastic. So the milk cartons that you're talking about in the fridge section, they are also a HDPE plastic. So if you pop those into your HDPE plastic, then they will go through the same recycling stream. But I guess the point that I'm trying to make is to not buy this stuff in the first place. We shouldn't be recycling more, we should be buying less.
Great question, thank you. Is there anybody else that has something? Does anyone here sell cows? An emerging industry, perhaps. Any entrepreneurs in the room? All right, a massive round of applause for Jess. The details are there. Thank you so much.
If you guys want to know the finer details, our step-by-step of how we've gone zero waste, and how we've gone to an empty landfill bin in 6 months, then you can check out my ebook. It's $15 and all of the sales are going back into cleaning up our Australian beaches. So you can get it from my website, jessicalousewellbeing.com, my Facebook page, or most of you guys are from Karratha, jump on the War on Waste Karratha page. There's some awesome tips that are going up there each day. So thank you guys, and I hope this inspires you to live with a little less.
Yes, that's amazing. Thank you so much. A really great example of how pressing for progress in any chosen field can really get some amazing results.